We should now be live on YouTube.com.
Yay. It doesn't even feel like it still is YouTube.com, but it is, isn't it?
It is YouTube.com.
I'm honestly almost shocked that they haven't tried to make like their own thing.
.u.
Yeah, something like that. .tube.
U.tube.
Ew.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just shocked.
Welcome back, everyone.
Indeed.
Umineko, Naku, Koro, Chiru. Doctrine of Truth and Illusions.
It's been a little bit longer than usual, but it was about how long it used to be.
Dawn of the Witch. Golden Witch, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, we've been talking about witches today, so my brain's all kerfuddled.
I'm gonna be honest, I was very excited to just get back to the witches that I liked the best.
Okay, our audio sounds good. Sorry, I went nonverbal there for a second. I was checking the audio.
Yeah.
So, let's get right back into it, shall we? Do we need to do a little recap, or?
Probably. I also wanted to say that we have 6 chapters left in the tea parties. Just for perusal. But in any case, do you recall, or rather, how well do you recall what happened last time? I know.
It does not help that in between last stream and this stream, we finished watching all of the Umineko anime, which only covers up to the end of Questions arcs. So now all of Questions arcs has been run through my head again.
Yep. Let's see. I'm looking at the layout from last time. Let's see. I think we opened up with Beatrice's murder. Is that right?
Yes. Did we open up with Beatrice's murder, or was it? No, yeah, because she was right after Jessica, wasn't she?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so we opened up with that, and then Battler was like, nah, I'm here now. Sorry for the wait, everyone. Yeah. And then he killed himself.
True.
Although that was revealed later that he killed himself. But he did it in a room, which seems vaguely similar to the creepy room that we keep returning to every once in a while. And Rudolph was like, dang, why, Battler? Why are you here? I wanted to tell you about the circumstances of your birth. Now I can't, ever.
Again. But yeah, that was his offering to Zepar and Furfur, the love demons, was I killed myself on the game board.
Which means everyone did what they were supposed to. So now what do they do? Now
the 2 love demons were like, we need a second round!
Yep. Which is probably going to be how we get more murders.
Let's see, I'm trying to remember if they talked about the crime scene much at all. I can't remember if they did quite yet. Erika did not have her detective's authority yet.
Erika has not doubled down on using the detective's authority because she's pulling I have to do it just like Battler did to prove that I'm better than him.
Yeah, and that's partially she doesn't really even want to do that. Berncastell's kind of making her. Because Berncastel at one point was like, alright, Battler, here's the deal. If Erika wins, then we win the game without even using the detective's authority. However, if she loses, I'll send her soul to the worst fragment possible. Sound good, Erika? And Erika was like, eh.
And even Battler was like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Battler was like, are you sure? Are you sure that's what you want, Erika? And Erika was like, yeah.
Yep. And then I can't remember if that was the last stream or not, but we did also get the Erika lore a little bit.
Yes.
Because specifically, I think the best way to sum it up is the part where she says, without love it cannot be seen. No, that's backwards. With love, you see things that are not there.
Yep.
And it's also summated by, I have countless evidence that you love me, but I have no evidence that you aren't cheating on me.
Yep.
Which is very tragic.
And then also we got snippets of Anja in there as well. Anja
True.
being in the
Anja
background being like, what does it mean? What is
Yeah, with Featherine. slash Hashijo Toya.
Yep. What does it all mean? Gaining
and
an even greater understanding beyond her initial understanding.
yep. We know that Erika has no packing tape,
Yep, no packing tape.
and we ended back on the game board, and Erika was talking to all the remaining adults, which were mostly the husbands,
Yes.
and was like, specifically, she ended up speaking to Rudolph and Kraus, and was like, hey, someone we know did these murders.
No, it was
and
Rudolph
I think,
and Hideyoshi.
Was it Rudolph and Hideyoshi?
She sent Kraus to go talk to the cousins. Yeah.
Okay, I got it twisted. So, yeah, she was like, someone we know did this, and I bet it was one of those people up there. Even though she knew that it was not
Yeah.
one of them.
For some reason, and I don't remember if it was explained why she did it specifically, or if it was just like she's got some game going on.
I can't remember either what the reasoning was. But yeah, I think that about does the gist of it. It seems like we're setting up for something big.
Yes. And we still have yet to get to the point that we have uncovered what the creepy room is that we've kept going back to, even though several times I've espoused what I think it is. But
Yes.
I will also say, off stream, because like I said, we watched the entire Umineko anime, I did a little bit of speculating as to who Beatrice is, quote unquote, but I think what I'll do is I'll just save that all for the end of episode 6, and I'll go over it in between the end of 6 and the tea party, when we have a little break to talk about it.
I will also say, excuse me, I just took a sip and now my voice sounds weird. Ugh. There is something we will need to view after 6 is over. And it's going to be in the tips menu. So I think we'll have to go through the tea parties to get the like post game 6, the one where you can just check it anytime.
Okay.
Because there's a little secret. It's like the secret shyster.
Yeah.
There's a little secret.
Yeah, okay.
So you may hold off. Point is, if you don't know at home, episode 7 is when a lot gets out, like straight out revealed, and I warned Levi about that. So if he wants to participate, and if you at home want to participate in locking in a guess regarding some of the last mysteries remaining, you will want to do it between 6 and 7, probably, if you want to try to be a mystery solver. Anyway,
Without further ado, welcome back.
yeah, give me a second. It's only been a week, but it's also been Thanksgiving week, so it feels like it's been like 2 weeks for me.
Yep. It's been a long week.
Get into it, yeah.
So, how is it playing on the witch's side?
It feels strange. I used to think that the witch's side had such a huge advantage. But now that I'm on that side, I see that's ridiculous. It's almost like that game where you stick knives in a barrel and try not to stab the mustache guy inside. From the perspective of the human side, it feels like trying to shoot at a target hidden by mist. From the witch's viewpoint, a stray shot might hit and become fatal.
The old me played games like that all the time.
Yeah, it's almost like Russian roulette. Even so, you believed that I'd eventually notice and stretch those games out to the limit.
It may be impudent of me to ask, but just what is it that you noticed, Battler-san? At the very end of your games with the old me.
Well, I'm actually going to sidestep around telling you exactly what it is right now so that the reader doesn't know. It was a strange question. Even though, in the past, Beato had always been the one posing it to Battler, now that Battler had figured it out, Beato was the one asking it to him. Our roles have been completely flipped, haven't they? In the past, only you remembered, and only I forgot. But this time, it's the other way around. Only I remember. And only you have forgotten.
Would you mind telling me what it is?
Telling you would be easy. But I don't want to tell you. I'm not trying to be mean. I just want to believe in a miracle for a bit myself.
A miracle?
Yes. This was the single miraculous seed that Battler had left behind. If Beato could remember a certain something without being told, that would prove that Beato had truly revived. So he wouldn't tell her. It was Battler's final seed, which existed because he still couldn't abandon his hopes for Beato's revival.
If you can't tell me, then I won't ask. If I have displeased you, please forgive me.
Don't worry about it. I just never know when to give up. As she watched that sad smile, Beato's chest tightened. He was looking at her, and seeing the old her.
Yes. I must become my former self, for his sake. My older sister who gets burned by spider webs, and I who don't, must become one.
That was another thing that happened. It was kind of minor, so we didn't mention it. But she is hurt by spirit mirrors, even though she's not hurt by spider webs or other things like that, other weird things.
Yes.
That was something that was odd, and it was like, why?
Weird.
Why?
Surely it's more useful to him if I go on a journey to find myself now, than if I simply watch over his game. How do you feel about this game? Do you think you can win?
I intend to win. I'll win and end this eternal torture, just like Beato wanted.
When it ends, what will happen to the world?
Who knows? I wonder. However, that's what we wished for. So no matter what the result is, I'll accept it.
What will happen to me?
Beato was uncertain. Even she was probably no more than a piece in this game. If the game ended, then would she, one who had been born out of that game's rules, disappear? The game will probably disappear. But now, I completely understand magic. So, I'll be able to carry you off the game board. I think that was your wish.
My wish?
The rest is a secret. I'll be waiting for a miracle. For you to remember all of that on your own. After smiling bitterly for just a second, Battler laughed and told her not to worry. Apparently, it was best if she avoided talking to Battler about her previous self. Well then, I'll go check on my opponent for a bit. I can't wait to see what kind of twisted logic that idiot thinks up next.
The old Battler-san did that a lot too. My favorite was the one from the first Twilight of the second game, when you said the culprit killed everyone by feeding them small bombs.
The highlights of my dark past. My dark passenger. Please forget that ever happened as fast as you can.
Yes, I will try.
Battler became a cloud of gold butterflies and disappeared into the darkness. Beato kept bowing until he disappeared completely. To fill in his place, a single gold butterfly appeared and became Beato the Elder.
Did you call for me, little sister? Yes. I want to know more about you. And I want to know what the real me is like. I want to become like that. Of course. I also want to know about my future self. Didn't we reveal everything about ourselves to each other for that purpose? However, we did not become one. I cannot understand what we must do to become our single self.
In hindsight, it's very funny that them trying to do that for the first time was them just literally trying to press themselves together. And, like, pop into one singular Beatrice body.
Hey, it almost worked.
Yeah.
What can we do to become one? I have high hopes for the trials of Zepar and Furfur. You mean the miracle of magic given to the victors? I wonder if that magical miracle means becoming one. I will find my true form. You will fulfill Battler's wishes. Battler will be overjoyed too, so all three of us will have what we want. This is a trial, right?
Jean-Pierre Polnareff.
It means we cannot lose to the other two pairs. George-san and Shannon-san, Jessica-san and Canon-san. I can only grasp happiness by trampling over them. The conditions apply to all of us. If one of the others succeeds in love, the other two groups, including you, will be trampled over. Why must the scales be so tilted, I wonder? Tilted? Some people will find love, others won't. In that case, you can put those two groups on a scale. However, the scales for our trial have 3 plates, and 2 must lose for 1 to win. That seems horribly skewed. Who knows? It might mean that successful love is worth 2 destroyed loves. You're too insecure, little sister. If you can't put your desire to answer the battler's expectations before your uncertainty over what happens to the losers, you won't be able to win anything. You're right. I won't give up our victory. I don't like doing this to the others, but there will be no hard feelings between us and them. If I do lose, I'll give my strongest blessings to whichever of the lovers wins. So, I'll fight with all my heart and soul, so that I have no lingering regrets. And I'll win that miracle of magic.
Magic.
Maybe.
Oh, you.
How was it? How did the red and blue shoot out over the first twilight go?
Oh, you!
We started by testing the waters. Battler seemed pretty eager, too.
She had just come back from a fierce fight with Battler, where she had gathered information by making demands for the red text. It was the old, familiar kind of fight, reminiscent of when the red text had first appeared, or when use of the blue text was first permitted.
And the result?
First, in all cases, it was the victims themselves that constructed the closed rooms. Also, those closed rooms were perfectly preserved until Krause's group broke them open. Also, I confirm that during this period, all sorts of interference from the outside were impossible.
Erika reported this proudly, as though it had been a great battle, but Bernkastel looked bored as she listened. After looking at her blankly for a second, Lambda Delta spoke her opinions frankly.
Wait a second. Doesn't that mean this closed room murder was perfect? What?
The victims had sealed the closed rooms themselves. And the closed rooms had been preserved until Kraus and the others broke them open. And no one had been inside the closed rooms except for the victims. And Kraus's group, the ones who had broken the rooms open, were not the culprits. In this way, she had managed to win several little red truths like these. Normally, simply collecting such vital information would have been enough. However, the Master Witch, tired of boredom, had expected a much more flashy, argument-winning victory instead of this bland result.
However, this time I don't have the detective's authority, so there's a chance I messed up when examining the corpses. So, if we suppose that a drug that mimics death was used to fool my examination, You mean puru puru pico puyo? No, not that. It's not impossible for certain well-known drugs, such as insulin, to bring about a temporary state that mimics death. Battler did not counter that with the red truth. In other words, my blue truth worked. I think we've started with a victory.
To sum up Erika's report, all she had done was listen to the red truth Battler had wanted her to hear. Only the information Battler had wanted out there had been shown, and she hadn't been able to strike at any weak points. She was like a kid who had gone out shopping, then forgotten her job, and only bought candy. However, this was all the players on the human side could do. Without the detective proclamation, she could only fight by collecting dull bits of information like that. However, her master had been expecting more than that sort of dull fight. So, she had tried to give her report energetically, to make it seem as though they were in a superior position. But no matter how much she tried, the cold expression of her master remained merciless.
Your blue truth worked. If he didn't cut it down, it's probably just because it was too stupid. You call yourself a great detective with reasoning like that?
I did try to examine the corpses with care, to the best of my abilities. However, I don't have the detective's authority, so we can't be certain. Wait a second, weren't you the one who decided not to make the detective proclamation? Didn't you say you wanted to raise the stakes to make up for your disgrace last time? Well...
What's wrong? Are you saying you can't win against Battler without the detective's authority?
That's not true, my master. I could easily defeat an incompetent like that, even without the detective's authority. It's just... this style of fighting is a little different from what I'm used to, and I haven't gotten used to the hang of it yet.
As far as humans go, Erika was quite talented. Her knowledge and powers of memory and insight were ahead of the pack, and it was likely that no human was more well-suited as a detective than her. However, no matter how much of an advantage she might have had over other people, that didn't matter in the witch's game. In the witch's game, it's either 0 or 100. In other words, everything is either the red truth or it isn't. If a normal human was worth a 10, her exceptional power would probably rate at 99. Oh no, not this again. But if we have the cross counter and the triple cross counter. However, it could never be 100. Since it wasn't 100, it couldn't be absolutely certain. So it didn't count as red truth. For example, the examination of the corpses that Erika had worried over in the fight just now. If she had performed it with the detective's authority, she could have said with 100% certainty whether they were alive or dead. However, without the detective proclamation, it was 99%. There was a 1% chance that she'd made a mistake, and that overturned the foundation of the examination. Erika had gained the detective's authority and had become the Witch of Truth because Bernkastel had supplemented her talent of 99 with an additional 1. Simply because Bernkastel wouldn't give her that 1. In the world of witches, Erika's 99 was treated exactly the same as 0. Oh, hi, Dillinor. She couldn't even use her great assistant Dillinor without a power of 100. When working under an Erika who had lost the detective's authority, Dillinor's red longsword lost its power. Dillinor was also irritated that she couldn't provide full assistance. She had tried several times to convince Erika to use the detective proclamation, but Erika had stubbornly refused each time.
Why not just do it? Make that detective proclamation. If you do, you'll be unstoppable. Dillinor could even use her red longsword in the Nox Decalogue.
Why not do it? If you want.
No.
There was no need for anyone to explain. By now, it was clear that Erika hadn't abandoned the detective proclamation by her own will.
When Battler reached the truth during the previous round, this game was already finished. This isn't really the 6th game. It's just a finale, so that Battler can have a chance to serve as Game Master at the end. The result was already decided last game.
Yeah, pretty much. The games won't continue forever, and I've lost my bet with Byrne. In this game, Battler will prove that he's reached the game's truth. And then Beato's game will be destroyed in a big victory for the human side. And a big victory for Byrne, too. Well, supposedly. But you look unsatisfied for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not satisfied. I didn't want such a boring victory.
The victory you did want had Beato's game board being torn to bits. And Beato's true, pathetic form exposed, humiliated, and trampled on. But this victory of Battler's isn't quite like that, is it?
All this about love and promises. He wants to end the game quietly and let her sleep in peace? That sort of ending would make anyone vomit. I didn't give Battler all that advice so that he could end things like that. I had his little sister turned into scrap meat behind his back. I had his parents and family killed horribly over and over again. That was all to spark a desire for revenge against Beato. And now, what kind of ending is this? Have I won? Of course not! Battler's gotten his hands on a victory that neither you nor I can stand. I had to withstand a staggering period of boredom just to come all the way out to this backwoods territory, just so that I could see Beatrice lamely and pathetically torn to little bits. I didn't come here to sip from a rotten yogurt fragment like this.
Shoot.
Aw, your angry face is wonderful too, Byrne. I see. So this is why you wanted to straighten things out for yourself, at least once at the end.
It's all the fault of this moron Peace screwing up all the time in the last game. Because of you, this game board that looked like it'd be fun for the first time in thousands of years has all been wasted. Filth, trash, scum.
My apologies, my master. I will definitely bring you a victory. So please forgive me.
If you couldn't win with the detective's authority in the last game, how do you expect to defeat Battler now that he's the game master? You don't have a chance at winning, even with the detective's authority. So why bother with it?
True, if you can't win anyway, then the detective proclamation isn't necessary. The lack will just make your loss all the more certain.
And therefore, if you manage to win even in this worst situation, that would be a miracle worthy of me. If and only if you can do that, I'll be able to forgive you.
Yes, I will surely show you that miracle.
Like... hell you can, Scum! All you can do is thoroughly expose your wretched self in a horrible punishment game, with your only weapon being taken away from you, and through it all, you'll still roll over painfully and beg to keep me entertained. Scum.
Who? Is that me?
Yes.
Sounds like you're having fun. Am I getting in the way? Gold butterflies gathered in the darkness and took the shape of Battler. Though he had just arrived, he seemed to know that the mood was dark.
Ah, Battler. I had a look at your first twilight. Quite impressive closed rooms. I'm sure you're even more talented than Beato.
It's just a rehash of the closed rooms Beato made in the past. I'll take that as a compliment aimed at her.
It seems your fight with Erika wasn't bad either. Think your serial murders will move along smoothly?
Who knows? My role isn't to carry out serial murders. It's to use that process to show you closed rooms that are impossible without magic, and thereby achieve victory for the witch side and prove that I've fully understood this game. No. There's one more thing.
What?
To settle things with Erika, after that evenly matched duel we acted out last time.
Battler.
Evenly matched?
Berncastel noticeably grimaced. Erika averted her eyes and hung her head timidly. I know what you'd like to say. That wasn't a draw. We should have won easily, so it counts as a loss.
Hey, it's not polite to eavesdrop.
Look at a mirror. It's written all over your faces. Pup!
No way! Where? Hey, what's going on? If you tell me it's written in ink only morons can see, then death, super death for you!
Thanks for alleviating the mood a little bit, Lambda. Lambda pulled a mirror out of thin air, then looked at it and jumped around angrily. She was apparently pretending to be stupid in her own special way. Erika. Even Lambda's like, dang, it's kinda sad in here right now. I gotta liven it up a little bit.
What is it?
That final fierce attack you and Dillenor made in the last game was spectacular.
Thanks.
What happened to Dillenor this time? Are you by yourself?
No. I have been waiting here.
Dillenor had just been standing around in reserve. What are you doing?
Huh?
What are you doing?
Me? Just hanging around.
Hiding her presence in the dark shadows.
Well, when she can't use her red longsword, Dillenor is just useless scum.
You don't mean that.
There's no point having her around, so she's hanging back.
All I can do now is record Lady Erika's reasoning.
Why won't you fight with her? Why can't you use that red longsword? Erika's reasoning and your longsword. Those were strong because they worked together. Dillenor didn't answer. She just glanced at Berncastel's expression for an instant. Mom won't let us. However, that glance was the same as a clear answer to Battler now. Battler fully recognized the situation. You're the one who told Erika not to use the detective proclamation.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
This fight is between me and Erika. We're gonna fight with all we've got. That way we'll be able to accept it whether we win or lose. There's no need for a mastermind behind the scenes like you.
Come now. I'm no mastermind. I'm just a theater goer trying to relieve her boredom.
Careful. A theater goer is someone who sits quietly in the stands and watches. That's not what we call someone who jeers at the stage and threatens or manipulates the performers.
Sorry for being an ill-mannered audience. You might not know it, but I've already paid a huge admission fee to watch this play. Sorry, but I intend to enjoy it until I get my money's worth.
If you get in the way of the game's progression, I can use my authority as Game Master to boot you out of this game.
If you want to, go ahead. If you can chase me out, then I'll head back with my piece, Erika. This game will be cancelled, and you won't be able to prove you've reached the truth. A theater goer is an observer. A truth with no observers is the same as an illusion. You need a theater goer as a witness until Beato's game ends.
Our truth only needs to pass between the two of us. If you get in the way any further, I will boot you out by force. Then, you can writhe around in boredom for a few centuries until you find another way to kill time.
Then go ahead and do that. Erika, this game is over. Good work. You were completely useless. You weren't able to overturn the dishonor of your loss, so as promised, I'll throw you into the worst fragment. I'll toss you into the depths of oblivion with the empty popcorn buckets.
My master, I will win. I'll win no matter what. So please, let me fight Battler until the end. I don't want to lose and get thrown in the depths of oblivion.
You know I want to watch until the end, right? But Battler says he'll toss me out. Hey, what'll you do, Lambda?
Well, I realize you've been irritated since the last game, Burn, but calm down a bit. And Battler, don't provoke Burn so much. This kid can't control her emotions sometimes.
Shut up! Who can't control her emotions?
Burkestel, who had never shown any expressions at all at one point in time, was now twisting her face into all kinds of displeased and ugly shapes. When Lambda Delta made fun of that, Burkestel clicked her tongue and looked away. As they say, nothing can stop poison but poison. Apparently, Lambda Delta was the only one who could rein Burkestel in.
Very true.
Yep.
To the Duke in chat.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Erika, you want to fight Battler, clear your name, and get Burn back into a good mood, right?
Burn is being a bit of a, even though I agree with Battler, they didn't necessarily actually lose. Burn is being a bit of a sore loser right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Battler, you want to quickly and neatly end this final game so that you can prove that you found the truth, right?
Yeah. This is a face-off between me and Erika. I won't let anyone get in my way, but I won't let anyone get in Erika's way either.
Battler. If both of them wish to fight, then that should be respected. Leave Baron to me. I'm the only one in the world who can calm that kid when she gets in a bad mood.
You're the same sort as her, but at least you can be reasoned with.
You shouldn't underestimate me. I just like seeing Burn grimace. That's why I've taken a liking to this game of yours. If you think I'm easy to handle, you're up to get burned, okay?
Because her name's Burn.
Yeah.
Dylanor can't use her red longsword because the detective proclamation hasn't been made. If Erika makes it, she'll regain her power right away. Right?
Yes. When that happens, forgive me. Erika,
What?
make the detective proclamation.
No.
I don't know why, that's just funny to me. She was just like, no. Like, do you really think you can beat me as I am now without the detective's authority?
I can win.
Lord Battler, Lady Erika is herself a piece. She cannot disobey her master's orders. All she can do is gather the power she has and fight for survival.
And Dylanor, your power can't be used at all without the detective's proclamation.
I need permission before unsheathing the red key. One form of that permission is the detective proclamation.
Are there any other ways of getting that permission?
What are you saying? If you're doing this out of pity for me, that's none of your business.
Quiet. You're so flimsy by yourself that it's boring. Be quiet, detective who isn't a detective.
The red key is infinitely similar to the red truth. If and only if I am given a truth, I am permitted to draw my sword for items that pertain to it.
What do you mean by a truth?
For example, there are Lady Erika's packing tape seals.
Dang, didn't think we'd ever get to actually see them.
Indeed.
Even with
And
the
look at
writing
that.
on them and everything, yeah.
Can you read it?
Does that say Erika Furudo Bernkastel?
Yeah.
Ah. Those.
Lady Bernkastel has already acknowledged that those seals are equivalent in value to the red truth. Therefore, I am permitted to draw the red key at least for truths pertaining to those seals.
Is this gonna get Battler to be like, okay, you could use the tape. Those caused me a lot of trouble last time. So I had all the sticky packing tape removed from the game board this time around.
A splendid move.
Omigoto.
Erika was proud to be able to call herself the detective, wasn't she?
Yes. Though her only goal was to irresponsibly solve riddles, it was a matter of pride for her.
Then she must really be suffering now that she can't make that proclamation.
Only she could tell you that.
Battler took a deep breath, then hung his head in thought for a time. Erika was his enemy. Oh, the... But she was the player on the human side. Sorry, I've got Arcane on the brain. I haven't even watched it, but it's in the zeitgeist right now. And without her, there would be no game.
Spare the sympathy.
Every single person is my enemy. It had been the same with the old Beato. Battler had one-sidedly viewed Beato as an enemy. However, though Beato had thought of him as her opponent, she hadn't considered him an enemy on a personal level. In accordance with the rules, I must fight my rival ruthlessly. However, that doesn't mean I need to hate Erika herself. I won't misunderstand Beato's game. Erika, you're free to choose not to make a detective proclamation. In that case, go and fight with just your power as a human.
I've been prepared to do that from the start.
However, you have talented allies. Dylanor, Gertrude, and Cornelia. You aren't alone. You have allies.
Yeah, but they're unreliable, powerless, and useless scum.
Dillinor. Just like how I was supported by Virgilia and Ronave in the past, Erika needs support as well. I know from repeated experience that playing for the human side is tough.
Yes. I will assist her with all the power I possess.
Understood.
Know that it is our job.
And you can't even use the red truth.
Erika, I will give power not to you, but to your allies.
Huh? What do you think you're doing?
It's just what Beato did. Virgilia and Ronave could use the red truth.
I'd rather die than receive your pity.
3 people. Dillinor, Gertrude, and Cornelia. Erika, I'll let you use 3 rooms worth of those packing tape seals. To fully seal 1 room, multiple seals would be needed to cover all the doors and windows. If he had said 3 seals, it would only have been possible to fully seal 1 room at best. So, Battler was generous and limited them by room instead of by seal.
Lord Battler.
As the game master, I also acknowledge that these seals have the same effect as the red truth. This way, you'll be able to wield that red longsword in a fight surrounding those. Right?
Yes. But are you certain?
Winning against Erika when she's less than a detective is hardly a victory. If Erika's up in the stakes, then I should have the right to do the same.
Phew, what a man. Aren't you lucky, Erika? Now you can use a bit of red without making the detective proclamation and irritating your master. You'll regret this. I'll use these 3 seals and kill you, no matter what.
Perfect. Come to kill me. Though it was only for 3 rooms, it was a red truth that Erika had desperately wanted. Now, she finally had enough leeway to fight as she pleased. She ground her teeth at being pitied by Battler, but her tears were not those of shame.
Understood. 3 rooms worth of packing tape seals accepted. Regarding this matter, should we consider them as being accepted retroactively, back when Lady Erika received the non-sticky packing tape from Mrs. Kumasawa?
Erika had borrowed packing tape from Kumasawa to make seals with. However, Battler had made it so that those weren't sticky. If he ruled that there had never been any problem with the stickiness of that packing tape, the transition could be made smoothly. Sure, that's fine. I'll rewrite the tale. The packing tape that Erika received from Kumasawa-san late at night on the first day was sticky, but there was only enough left to use on 3 rooms. I'll apply that from here on out.
Understood. Lady Erika will also retroactively adjust her movements, starting before the discovery of the first twilight and taking into account that the application of this privilege is now possible. As soon as these changes affect the progression of the game, they will be reported to the Game Master.
Letting you do it retroactively, even though you know which rooms the crime will occur in, that gives you a pretty big advantage. You won't have to waste tape on other rooms.
It seems you've grown quite arrogant since becoming Game Master. Isn't it fun to give out charity to your pathetic opponents?
Quiet. And don't misunderstand. I'm not being arrogant or soft here. Erika, use this weapon and come at me with all you've got. Then, I'll crush you with all I've got. So hold your head up high and use those 3. That is all. Battler made to leave the room with a flick of his cape. As he did, he thought he heard Erika let out a strained voice calling him to a stop. What is it? If you have no business with me, I'm going. Make sure you talk with Dillinor. Don't listen to those obnoxious witches, whatever they tell you. As long as I'm on this game board, I won't let them do whatever they please.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll fight with all I've got. I'll come at you with all my strength. So, I'll defeat you no matter what.
Hi, Tommy.
So, if you do win against me, please crush me with all your strength. Please, don't leave a scrap behind.
Understood. And don't you go easy on me. This is the final game. I'm playing to prove to Beato that I've reached the truth. By now, who wins and who loses doesn't affect that goal. So, I just want to accept you as a rival and settle this. In the game, let's suspect each other over everything as enemies. But as fellow players, let's trust each other. That's how this game is supposed to be played.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Battler melted into the darkness, became a cloud of gold butterflies, and vanished. Erika remained behind, sobbing.
Just kidding. Jeez, you're a dim, stupid man. You totally fell for it and gave me the tape. I, Furudo Erika, have packing tape.
It was hard to imagine that the person who had been sobbing pathetically and this person now were the same. That's how vile her face contorted to be. The two witches were also cackling with ugly smiles.
I totally understand. When you become Game Master, it feels like you've become God and you get all sure of yourself.
It was the same for you, Lambda. Of course you'd lose after leaving a stupid mistake like walking corpses alone. Stupid Game Masters, stupid mistakes, stupid pride, stupid losses, stupid Battler, stupid everything.
Stupid losses, stupid battler, stupid everything. Has a nice ring to it. Nice one, my master. Stupid battler, stupid everything, stupid battler, stupid everything.
If that stupid Battler really thinks Erika's at a disadvantage, then I really pity him. A detective proclamation isn't what you need to kill a moron.
Death by falling on a piece of tofu? It'd have to be soft tofu, too.
Had some
Gochujang?
I guess.
gochujang chili paste, and you've got a snack that'd go great with some wine.
The three giggled together. It had all been an act to get the packing tape for the seals from Battler. Even though the packing tape had tormented him so much in the last game, even though the packing tape that had tormented him so much in the last game was unusable in this one, he had fallen for Erika's act. And she had gotten what she wanted, though just 3 rooms worth. The illusion that Erika had an overwhelming disadvantage was just an act. A trap to trick Battler and make him hand over the packing tape.
With this, I can kill Battler perfectly. I figured out those pathetic closed rooms long ago. Perfect closed room? Dumbass! I'll show you a real perfect closed room. And I could almost cry for joy at the fact you gave me the weapon that'll finish you. My master, Lady Lambda Delta. Thank you so much for going along with this act. It was fun. No need to thank me.
Plus, it wasn't an act.
Bernkastel said something that was probably disturbing, but in her good mood, Erika didn't care a bit. That pudding for brains moron, thinking he's done something so noble. That's probably Erika. That's...
Yeah. I'll read it back. I'll run it back.
That pudding for brains moron, thinking he's done something so noble. I'll make you regret it. Alright, let's use these seals at our leisure. You did great too, Dylanor. It seems that Battler trusts you, so he believed every word you said. Don't tell me your conscience is hurting, you little murder doll.
No.
Dylanor looked at Erika in a slightly lonely way. Then, after shaking her head slightly, her gaze turned hard, and she looked at the darkness Battler had disappeared into.
He should have known that this was a no-holds-barred fight. How foolish, Lord Battler. This is, without a doubt, the result of your pride. Mr. Battler, this will be fatal.
The TTRPG? Mm-hmm. No, I don't want to play Fatal!
I also think that was our second time ever hearing Happy Maria in-game.
Dang.
Alright. Oh, back to these ones.
They're
I love
back!
this song. So far, so good, Furfur.
Yeah, all the lovers clearly possess a strong will.
This is a victory for love that we shall extol.
Everyone had gotten used to these two overdramatic demons. George spoke quietly with an annoyed expression.
We'll only extol that after we've passed your trial and someone has been given the miracle of magic.
I agree. We've all passed the first trial. What's next? I won't hold back anymore. I'll do whatever it takes.
Yes, we won't lose.
We won't lose either.
Yeah. And of course, the same goes for Battler-kun's group.
No, we don't care anymore. Of course. I doubt anyone here is so naive that they'll hope to win by having the others forfeit.
Right. Anyone weak enough to drop out would have no right to be here right now.
Even Beato, who seemed to be the shakiest of the six, was strongly determined. The two demons nodded at each other, taking note of the six's continued resolve.
So, what's the next trial? Don't tell me you still haven't decided.
I don't know.
What's your favorite color? No. Just twirls hair curls.
Yeah.
Anyway. Well, we thought at least some of you would drop out.
We didn't think you'd all remain. What a happy, miraculous miscalculation due to love!
Shut up. So? Are we gonna play musical chairs or something to make sure someone drops out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah!
Yes! Precisely that!
Dang!
We've decided to have this trial eliminate one group no matter what!
Oh, okay. Okay, it's...
No, not actual musical chairs.
They said yes, precisely that!
They didn't know. They didn't know.
I
They-
thought... Okay, sorry. Whew,
This trial is the second twilight of the epitaph.
Oh boy.
Tear apart the two who are close!
I I don't get it.
Zepar-sama? Furfur-sama? What sort of trial is this? Do you mean we're going to kill each other?
Precisely that! No. That'd settle things quickly.
Though it's not exactly civilized.
Love is for carnivores.
I guess we can't all just find happiness together, can we?
Whoa, Beato, whoa, what are you
That's
suggesting here?
awful. That's pretty extremist there, miss. This is what they call a zero-sum game. It's an economic word, but maybe you've heard of it?
No, my apologies.
Zero-sum game. It's where victory and losses can all cancel out to end up with zero. In order for someone to win, someone else must be forced to lose. It's the ruthless way of this world.
To quote Ricky Bobby, if you're not first, you're last.
Yep.
If only everyone could be happy. But there's no way for an ideal world like that to exist.
No! Wait, no, that's you.
You're Zepar. I'm Furfur. Yeah.
Yeah. Took me I'm just so used to Zepar
Same.
usually goes first.
Same.
Yeah.
No, there he is.
That is the Golden Land!
The Golden Land?
What are you talking about? You've been here so long already, and you haven't figured everything out yet, Jessica? Yeah. That's right. If you reach the Golden Land, all love will be satisfied. However, like heaven and hell, that's not a place in this world.
I wouldn't want that. Love has meaning because we find it in this world. I could never support a sad lover's double suicide, or they're only united after death. Wait till he figures out what happened in the fourth game. I guess that wasn't a suicide, but still. I'll stick to my love in life. I won't lose to anyone.
George-san.
The door to the Golden Land can be opened by solving the epitaph's riddle. In that place, love and lives are all whole and can be revived, but
We're straying from the point. Let's hear about the second trial now.
Right. What are you trying to make us do with this tear apart the two who are close thing?
It's quite simple.
The only possible way to tear apart two lovers is by the sad farewell of death.
The second trial involves killing one of the 6.
Of course, any lover with their partner killed is disqualified.
In short, one group of lovers must fail during this trial.
you say kill so easily. What exactly are we supposed to do?
You can just fight to the death.
Or you can decide by a lottery of some sort.
Like hell we'd choose by drawing lots. Let's have a fair and square duel.
Though if we do that, I imagine that Battler-kun, the Game Master, and Beatrice, who's the Golden Witch, even though her memory is gone, will have a substantial advantage.
Yeah, probably a little bit.
Well, I wonder about that.
No, we won't. No.
Uh-uh.
You should do that one. We should do that one.
Don't worry. For this trial, we have made everyone's powers equal.
Okay, there you go.
Even the Game Master, Lord Battler, is taking this trial on an even footing with everyone else.
In that case, it's fair.
Is it completely and purely on an even footing?
Yes!
It's perfectly even!
In
In a one-on-one matchup, victory would be decided by luck. It's perfectly even.
so it'll probably take some time before it's settled.
So, is the trick to attack when you're in a superior position, I wonder?
Duels that take time are, of course, wonderful.
Why would anyone leave it up to luck? Of course we want to fight in a situation to our advantage.
In that case, a three-way struggle?
Sorry.
What are you suggesting, Beatrice? What?
Won't that mean we're stuck?
Beato was the first to notice. Also, it wouldn't be a... It would be a, what do you even call... Well, I guess at that point it's just a... orgy.
That's a situationship right there.
Yeah. If the six were truly on an even footing, and both willing and capable of winning, one pair would have to concentrate their attacks on a single person. If that happened, then the pair containing their target would of course band together and resist. In other words, it would never be 2 against 1. It would become 2 against 2, and a matter of luck. However, at that time, any third pair who happened to be watching this could team up with whichever pair they liked with no risk to themselves, defeating the opposing pair with certainty.
Sounds troublesome. It means that moving first is disadvantageous.
If you step forward and fight, it's a matter of luck. If you sit and wait for the others to start fighting, it's certain victory. A fight would never begin in this situation.
Maybe we could just have everyone fight the person next to them one-on-one.
Thanks, Canon.
Turns to look at George.
Then, as soon as one fight is settled, the trial will be over.
Unless everyone could abandon any naive hopes for a 2-on-1 fight, this trial would never begin and never end. So I'm assuming what we're building up to here is that Zepar and Furfur are going to be like, and there's also this other stipulation that's going to incentivize fighting somehow. In that case, if they made a gentleman's agreement and had everyone duel at once, it would be no different from drawing lots, but it would at least be even.
That won't work. If we do that, everyone will just defend instead of fighting proactively. All they need to do is wait for someone to lose before they do.
Shannon's point was a sound one. If both fighters just glared at each other without attacking, then neither would lose. Just gonna say, right now would be the perfect time for someone to just be like, yeah, no, we'd never, and get someone.
True.
They would never suspect it. They would.
The surprise attack.
All they had to do was wait for someone other than themselves to lose first. This brought them back to the starting point. No one would fight proactively.
In the end, no one will move, and nothing will be resolved.
Man, it's almost like a trap of sorts that you're stuck in with no way of moving it.
Yeah, it's almost like,
Like
you're
a-
locked by a chain.
Like a chain on a door
Yeah.
that can't be set from the outside. Since
Well, that
there's
would be
the...
ridiculous.
Yeah, of course, no. Since there's this arithmetical?
I'm gonna
Arithmetical?
look and see if that's real, but yeah.
Because I know the source of that word is arithmetic.
Yeah.
Arithmetical? Arithmetical? Arithmetical?
Hold on. Okay, I don't think that's a real word.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's in like some dictionaries, but it's not in all dictionaries.
It makes sense for Battler to be saying it to sound smart. Since there's this arithmetical situation where we...
Arithmetical.
Arithmetical situation where we all have the same strength, it's almost like a puzzle.
True. It would have been an interesting duel if our strengths were unknown. However, since we've been told that we're perfectly even, this duel is no different than rock, paper, scissors.
What if they aren't perfectly even? What if that's just something Zepar and Furfur told you so that you'd be in this situation until someone made a move?
In that case, why not use rock, paper, scissors to decide it?
John Gampon!
True.
Are you crazy?
Whoa!
I'm not gonna do that. Even if someone does lose, there's no way they'd accept their loss.
Just go calm down.
She's love hungry. She said it earlier. Love's for carnivores, brother.
If they don't accept it, then they will be attacked by the 4 winners. Thanks. Canon's real. In the world where all are equal, the losers will have no chance of surviving.
True. Well now, is rock, paper, scissors actually the most reasonable way to settle this?
It's extremely reasonable. However, if you ask me whether I'd be reckless enough to entrust my fate to a random number generator, the answer is no. Please do consider that problem.
This is the second trial we have for you.
Think and fight to the death. Please decide whom the sacrifice will be.
See, it's got a little circle there,
check.
kind of like a gunshot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dillinor?
That was the chapter Detective Proclamation.
Okay.
We're now getting to the points where some of the chapters may be spoilers, so I won't tell you till after.
Okay. Darkness? It's... We've got mood lighting. Oh, I'm assuming they just told Kraus because he's got the gun out. He's got the blicky on.
True. It isn't unthinkable. The servants are the most suspicious.
He's just stirring up trouble.
It isn't.
Oh,
It isn't as though we have any physical evidence, so we can't tie them up and throw them in a closet. So we need to make sure that they're always within sight of those with guns. And that we keep an eye on them all the time.
What if we just kill them? What if...
Rosamaxing.
Yeah.
Panicky. We should also gather the master keys. Only the servants could have created those closed rooms.
The game board, except Battler, has made everyone extremely emotional and irrational this time. So they just start
got rid of
shooting
the women.
people on sight.
They must have done something with the chain locks using some tool or arrangement that only the servants know about.
They have all served us for a long time. I can hardly imagine that they would all commit murder.
Kinzo-san's life is nearly over, and I hear that the inheritance problem is still very shaky. Read on that story about 10 tons of gold being hidden somewhere. A possible payoff like that might be enough to convince certain people to commit a crime. Wink wink.
Looking at you, Goda.
I have something to share about him, but it'll unfortunately pretty much have to wait till we're done with
Dang.
Umineko. But I learned about why he's not a great person.
You finally found your evidence?
I did. It was in the manga of all things.
Dang.
Yeah. But anyway. I also learned of a scrapped storyline with him too that's wild. I might share that with you later, because I might as well. But anyway. I don't want to think about it. There's also a chance that the old bastard is running some bizarre occult ceremony. Nah, he would never. The servants of the One Wing are his pawns, and they might have been the ones to carry out the murders. How about that, anyway? Have we been able to contact him yet?
No. The extension line isn't working either. The culprits may have broken it. And Father does sometimes leave the receiver off the hook when he's in a bad mood. When I knocked, I only received a grumpy reply.
Come on, Kraus, come clean. It's over, man.
We can't contact him, but that study is well protected. It's probably safer there, so it might be best to have him stay there.
Flustered, Kraus tried to explain away Kinzo's silence. Battler, the game master, hadn't made Kinzo's death a major theme for this game, so the conversation didn't progress any further at this point. They stopped talking about Kinzo without Rudolph thinking anything was particularly suspicious. It would go against his dead wife's memory, Pertusit, if he gave up now.
True. Anyway, we can't let the servants go unsupervised. I already talked to Hideyoshi-san about this, but we decided to split everyone into 2 rooms on the 2nd floor and hole up in there.
Why 2 rooms? Wouldn't one room be more secure?
Well, if you tried to stick 12 people in one room, they'd suffocate. It would also be best to isolate the people we need to keep the closest eye on. There's Genji-san, the head of the servants, Koro-san, the largest one there, and though he's just a kid, Kanon-san is a boy.
I think we need to pay those 3 special attention, Aniki. This way we can isolate that group, and you and I can keep a close eye on them. With 2 guns, the pair of us could probably cooperate. The 2 of us could cooperate on a moment's notice. If they make even a single suspicious move, boom.
I understand. Let's do that. But Rudolph, we cannot be certain that they are the culprits. Don't be too pushy.
You're telling me not to be pushy? We must be getting old.
Right now, Hideyoshi-san is upstairs, dividing everyone into the 2 rooms. We'll gather the ones being isolated in the cousin room, and others will go into the next room over.
Tape time!
Alright. Aniki, what about Jessica-chan? She insists on being in the same room as you.
Aw.
Jessica.
We were planning to have 5 people in the cousin room and 7 in the next room over. If Jessica-san wants to go to the cousin room, it'll be split clean down the middle. If this was a wolves and sheep puzzle, there are now 3 servant wolves and you 2 sheep in that room. If you add in Jessica-san, it'll be balanced out.
For a while, Kraus crossed his arms and thought. The cousin room would surely be more dangerous, so he wanted his daughter to go into the next room over. However, in an emergency like this, he wanted to have his daughter where he could see her.
Let's let her stay with us. We might need her there to make sure we remain good dads and uncles.
Yes. At the moment, even I am only trying to act in a rational manner. But I can't guarantee that my sadness at losing my wife won't change to anger.
Even without any physical evidence, the servants are certainly the most suspicious. During the long wait, the 2 men's weariness and anger and sadness might make them lose their reason and act out in anger. After thinking deeply, Kraus decided to accept Jessica's request, in part to prevent such a thing from happening.
I think that's a good idea. I approve as well.
I agree. It's enough that only Rosa and I lose children.
Rudolph.
In this way, all of the survivors except Kinzo split into 2 groups and holed up in 2 rooms on the guest house's 2nd floor. Did you really have to throw in the except Kinzo? 1 group was in the cousin room. Kraus, Rudolph, Jessica, Genji, Kanon, and Goda. 6 people. 1 group was in the next room over. Hideyoshi, George, Shannon, Kumasawa, Nanjo, and Erika. 6 people here, too. Perhaps as the result of the killer's doing, the external phone line had been cut off.
No!
And they would have to wait for the ferry boat coming the next day before they could contact the police.
Ah!
However, the weather report said that the typhoon would make the ocean rough all the next day.
It's all wrong!
When such a thing happens, the ferry boat takes the day off. So it would probably be 2 days before the boat came. In other words, they would need to spend a full 2 nights at Freddy holed up in there. 5 nights at Kinzo's.
True, man. True. I prefer 5 nights at Rokkenjima because then it's FNAR.
You don't like Fnac? You...
Fnor, 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 fnor.
Nor.
Dang.
While Erika and the others held their planning meeting in the lounge, food and blankets had been brought in to prepare for the siege. The sudden tragedy had everyone on edge, but it was already well after 2 o'clock in the morning. If they really suspected the servants, then the observers couldn't afford to fall asleep at the same time. Either Kraus or Rudolph should probably take a nap right away.
Nope.
Not bad. Even without the detective's authority, you've managed to take control pretty cleverly.
A man who's lost his cool is no different from an emotional dog. If you treat them poorly or properly, it's easy to control them.
What's the famous meme quote? Something about just be nice to guys. I can't remember how it goes.
It's Matara Khan. her past life, she said, "Men are easy, just be nice to them."
That's right.
One of the benefits of the detective's authority was being able to take charge of the situation. Because of this, Erika, who was both a guest and a young girl, had been able to order a large number of adults around at will. However, she didn't have that power this time. So, Erika had taken charge by making good use of her natural conversation skills and techniques for controlling men. The detective's authority is the same as magic. You can't do anything that's impossible for you. So, I guess Erika was only acknowledged as such because she already had that much power.
Magic is not something that is given to lazy or powerless humans.
Right. On the contrary, people who can hide their great efforts are the ones we call witches. The absolute nature of the detective's authority can affect even magic. However, that convenient power probably hadn't been given to Erika easily. I probably have to acknowledge it. Even if she isn't given a special power by the witch she serves, she's capable of quite a lot on her own. But Erika, why did you split them into 2 rooms? I figured you'd try to gather everyone into one room. Becking deep.
I would have if I had the detective's authority. This is a move to preserve my right to investigate at will.
Ah. Is that it? I see. Not bad. Since Erika was being protected as a guest, it was hard for her to move about freely. In truth, she wanted to take some time and investigate the victims at the crime scenes at her leisure, without being interrupted by anyone. She had already inspected the scenes once, in a huge rush as she ran through the mansion, but that probably hadn't been perfect. However, they wouldn't have let a guest into the crime scenes, so she had no other choice back then. She wanted some time to herself and freedom to investigate once more, in part so that she could check the closed rooms and causes of death more closely.
How is that related to splitting everyone into 2 rooms?
Because she'll be able to trick them with it. Watch.
I love her.
Did
It's the faces. It's the faces for me.
Yes, that's the only reason I split them into 2 rooms.
I feel like you're lying. I feel like you're
What?
lying.
What? No. When have
If
you
she
known
didn't
Erika
make a little
Furuta to be a
rat
liar?
face after she said it, I may have second guessed myself. But now it's the same thing with Battler in the logic trap room. I'm like 99% sure you're lying now.
I love it when Umineko does that, where the sprite changes, but no words are said.
The cousin room was filled with a quiet tension. This room had 6 people. Kraus, Jessica, and Rudolph. That's only 3. And then the most suspicious ones. Oh, sorry. The male servants, Genji, Canon, and Goda, who had been forced to hole up in here.
Jessica and Cannon can make kissy faces.
Yeah. Jessica leaned against Kraus's shoulder, wrapped up in a blanket. She was drowsy, but apparently couldn't get to sleep. Aww. It was no surprise. In this bizarre situation, it would probably take some time before she could accept her mother's death.
Okay, now let's do the same scene, but for George and Hideyoshi.
I thought because they just appeared on screen you were going to say Kenon and Rudolph.
No, that's also funny, though.
Kenon thought that this was the sort of time he should stay by Jessica's side. Careful, Icarus. But that looked like it would be hard to do in front of Rudolph's intimidating glare.
He wants to
What
be a
about
good
her
uncle.
dad, who's right there?
He's focused on her.
True. Rudolph stayed completely silent, but his inner emotion showed clearly in his eyes. Kill! So Genji, Kenon, and Goda didn't have to ask to realize that they were suspected. Sometimes, Goda asked to help in an attempt to get on their good side and correct his misunderstanding. But it seemed to be having the opposite effect. The best option available to him was to stay quiet so that he didn't aggravate Rudolph and sit still at the end of the sofa. Try and take a nap, Goda. Try. In the next room over, there were also 6 people. Erika, Hideyoshi, George, Shannon, Nanjo, and Kumasawa.
The party room.
Yeah. The format of the room and the constricted atmosphere were the same as the cousin room.
Oh.
But even so, it was relatively calm there. Hey, they flipped the CG in the background for us.
It's just mirrored.
For continuity. George sat holding Shannon, who was darkly hanging her head the whole time. Yeah, Mom's not here anymore, so we can do this now.
True.
Dad doesn't care.
Yeah, Dad's cool.
Kumasawa and Nanjo sat nervously as they listened to Hideyoshi explain the situation.
We don't know how many enemies there are. However, we have guns with us. And of course, I've shot guns before.
I feel like you're lying, Hideyoshi.
I'm not talking about the Hawaii Shooting Center here. It's been long enough that I can confess, but I once defiantly fired off one of them occupying forces pistols. You see,
Back then, that's right. Hideyoshi was. They had this whole bit about Hideyoshi being like a rebel youth during the occupation.
Yep.
back then, the black market was controlled by foreign gangsters.
He probably wanted to make everyone feel secure by convincing them he could be relied upon. Hideyoshi went into one of his old stories that everyone had heard many times, and which had gotten more extravagant each time they'd heard it. It didn't make them any more confident in Hideyoshi's abilities,
That's dang.
but it did seem to calm things down a little by bringing in a sense of normality.
Why has a crime like this happened?
I don't know,
I hope the
Kumasawa.
boat comes to...
Why has it?
Mackerel! I hope the boat comes tomorrow.
That seems unlikely. It looks as though we'll be staying here for 2 nights. Now is a good time to get some sleep.
My nerves aren't dull enough to let me sleep soundly in a situation like this.
George-sama?
The pain and anger of losing his mother quietly tormented George. Oops. Sleepiness probably wouldn't be coming for him for a while.
He's riding a high right now, man.
Dang! He's got adrenaline pumping through his veins.
It's like, who's next?
Yeah. Erika suddenly clapped her hands as though she had just remembered something.
I left the stove on.
Oh no! Then whispered in Hideyoshi's ear, interrupting the old story, which he had grown quite engrossed with.
Sorry, I'm going to go to the cousin room for a second. There's one little thing I just need to check on with the servants over there.
Can't you use the phone? You just need to dial the room number.
Oh, have you forgotten? Seems the culprit has broken the phones.
Wait, you don't mean... You found some kind of contradiction in their testimonies?
Up until this point, Erika had spent a lot of time giving the impression that she'd behaved like a detective. So, Hideyoshi immediately assumed that this was something vital to do with the crime. No, one of them left the oven on. No.
It'll be easy to check, but it might be a huge lead. I'll be back before long. Please don't let anyone leave this room.
Even though it's the next room over, it's too dangerous to go alone. You sure you don't want to take someone with you?
We can't trust the servants or Nanjo-san completely. You're in charge of this room. George-san is needed to support you. There's no one left. Don't worry. The detective never gets attacked.
That's a big red flag, even though it's probably true, but... Erika had already worked hard to look like a sharp, clear-headed person. Hideyoshi relaxed and agreed, thinking that it was just next door and wouldn't be a problem.
After an hour. No. Better not to wander around too much. I'll stay over there until morning. It'll be better if I wait until it gets light before I come back.
Good thinking. You be careful now.
It's just a little trip to the next room over. Take good care of this room. Please don't let anyone go outside. We've already brought everything we need up here, so there's no reason for anyone to leave.
Because you're totally gonna leave and see that she's over there and not completely somewhere else, which would make you suspicious of her.
Food, drinks, blankets, medicine, towels, tissue paper, everything.
Buckets.
The women also had their cosmetic pouches. There you go, there's the buckets. No. They could last 48 hours without lacking for anything.
I know. We aren't just here to protect ourselves. We're also on the lookout for the culprit, if he's among us. I understand.
Dang. Good though. Goodbye then. Where are you going, Erika-chan? We promised that no one would go outside.
Oh, Erika-chan remembered something important she had to do. She's going to the next room over. Don't worry, she'll be fine.
Hideyoshi suspected that Shannon might be one of the culprits. Since he also knew that Shannon and George had a special relationship, he apparently thought it would be prudent to mislead George about Erika's actions and motives. Hideyoshi slowly opened the door and checked both ways down the corridor, his gun raised.
It's okay. No one's there.
That's far enough. For all we know, Shannon-san might take George-san hostage as soon as you leave the room, right? It's careless even just showing your back to them, as you're doing now.
You're right. Then be careful. Tell me about it later.
Sure. Bye then.
Sprinting to the back to the mansion. Yeah. Erika closed the door, pushing Hideyoshi back inside. She then waited for the sound of the lock on the inside, and her smiling eyes opened wide. Her expression had become ruthless and intelligent.
Oh no.
In this way, Erika was able to gain several hours during which all of the suspects were sealed up and she alone was free. Okay, I accidentally just fat-fingered something, so I'm just going to make sure I didn't mess with the recording at all.
Okay. I'm watching the stream as well to make sure.
Yeah, no, it says we're still streaming and nothing's muted. Okay.
Okay.
I was
Make
afraid.
sure the
I'm
in-game's
always
not
afraid
muted.
that I accidentally press M because of the one time that I did.
True. Yeah, actually, I can hear the music, and if you had emmed, I wouldn't be able to.
Yep.
Okay, we're fine. We're good.
Anyways, several hours, suspects sealed up and she alone was free. Oh.
Yep. Wow.
Finally, I can investigate to my heart's content. But first, Ushiromia Battler,
Don't use my full name.
allow me to confirm the location of all characters present. Repeat it.
Of course, I'm not obligated to respond, remember?
If you don't, I'll just say that someone sneaked out while I wasn't looking and that this person was responsible for the bizarre crimes that are sure to follow. If you want to show me an impossible murder, you should first confirm my locations.
Sure. Why not? I'll listen at least. Let me hear it.
From now on, instead of repeating the barricaded room next to the cousin room, let's just say the next room over. Does that work for you?
Sounds simple enough. Got it. And?
When I check everyone's locations as I am about to, I'm not concerned with whether they're alive or dead. Think of it as the location of their body. And of course, I'm referring to the current point in time. Here we go. The 6 first Twilight victims are located at the places where they were discovered. Natsuhi is in her room, Ava is in the VIP room, Kiri is in Krause's study, Rosa and Maria are in the parlor, and you're in the guest room. Don't tell me you're already going to refuse.
Don't worry. I acknowledge it. First off, it was acknowledged that the victims' locations were the same as the rooms that had been shown by the Witch's Side's illusion.
Good though. I'll continue. Hideyoshi, George, Shannon, Konosawa, and Nanjo are in the next room over.
Acknowledged. With that, the humans in the room Erika had just left had been specified. Carefully checking even obvious things like that was the most basic part of playing on the human side.
Good though. I'll continue. Everyone else is in the cousin room.
The word everyone drew a slight reaction from Battler. The intuition he'd built up from all previous games told him not to answer this one instantly. I refuse. Acknowledging that would mean that Kinzo's corpse would also have to be in the cousin room.
Pardon me. It has already been shown that Kinzo no longer exists, so please remove him from the word everyone.
Why are you using the word everyone for the cousin room alone? Why are you so vague? When you could just mention the names of Krause and the other 5 individually.
It'd just be too much of a pain to read out all their names. Or is there something wrong? Does using the word everyone create a problem with some trick of yours?
If Battler had been told to repeat Krause, Rudolph, Jessica, Genji, Goda, and Canon are in the cousin room, he would probably have acknowledged it with the red without thinking too much about it. Of course, normally, Erika would have mentioned the names of everyone inside and had him repeat it precisely. Battler had paused, feeling some kind of unease because of that unexpected demand and the word everyone.
Excluding Kinzo and me, there are 17 people on this island. 6 were killed and are lying in the mansion, and 5 are in the next room over. And the remaining 6 are in the cousin room. That's a reasonable assumption to make, right? However, there are 17 people on the island, so if we subtract 6, then 5, then 6 again, we're left with 0 humans whose locations have not been checked. But that sort of assumption would be extremely dangerous. I'm pretty sure that this sort of trick involving names and numbers of people caused you a lot of trouble with Nanjo's murder in the 3rd game.
Good point. That trick worked because the 18 names given didn't match up with the 18 people who actually existed, leaving room to add in an unknown person.
Exactly. And so, I can't feel secure just by checking their locations by name. That's why I use the word everyone. That word can prevent you from using a new trick that I haven't even thought of.
I see. Pretty crafty of you. If Battler was planning a new trick where the names and number of people would be used to create false alibis, like the murder of Nanjo in the 3rd game, even naming off all 17 people and checking their positions left a trace of uncertainty behind. And if he cleverly managed to slip somebody past the names and numbers of people.
For example, let's say that an unknown assassin X is hiding on this island. Let's call him Puru Pico Man.
No. I'm not calling him that. No. I see. Even if you list everyone's names and check their locations, this Puru Puru Pico Man guy would fall outside the net.
Precisely. Even hearing there are only 17 people on this island and here are the locations of 17 people is insufficient. There's already a precedent for this. However, the word everyone is just too broad. Can't you word it a little better?
No. If we run away from the word everyone here, there's a chance that Erika will be able to use that as a basis for making Puru Puru Pico Man the culprit for everything. Why did you immediately fold to calling him that, Battler? Why? In my old fights with you, I also nailed several riddles with no basis other than the unknown 18th person X.
The word everyone is significant. Make sure you think very carefully first.
Erika wore a full but evil smile, confident that she had made a powerful move. Rat. Players on the witch side must eradicate all possibilities that would be possible for humans. If I don't crush any chances for this ridiculously named Puru Puru Pico Man right now, he'll be used to explain everything the witch does. That was a move I liked to use in my old games with Beato. Back at the very beginning of the fight, my counterattacks were all based on the unknown 19th person X. Because of that, Beato had restricted the number of people on the island, making it necessary to eliminate any unknown person hiding somewhere. In that case, this time is the same. So, just like Beato did, I need to get rid of any leeway in which that X can exist. The number of people on the island has already been announced, but since she's suspecting tricks involving names and numbers of people, saying the same thing again won't satisfy her. In that case, I have no choice but to respond to her demand and use the word everyone. And that word has a disturbing ring to it. And though I haven't figured it out yet, it feels like there's some kind of demonic killer move hidden within it. It feels like that with everything she fucking does. Sorry. She's a rat.
She's that good, man.
Everything she does feels dangerous.
Every move is checkmate.
Yes.
And that's cool.
Damn. After insulting Beato so much and saying that the witch's side had a huge advantage, I'm getting this pressure just having to deal with a single line to repeat.
Deflection, right?
You mean the chess term?
Yes. It's a technique of putting pressure on an enemy piece, forcing it to move and making them weaken their own position. I'm threatening you with the broad and powerful piece called Everyone, pressuring you to move. With this, Battler-san will be able to perfectly guarantee alibis for all of the survivors. And it'll probably make it possible for him to trap me in the later impossible crimes. What exactly are you afraid of? Shouldn't this be a powerful move for you?
But it's a move that you're pressuring me to make. You're trying to make me weaken my own position in some way.
No matter how good a move seems, it's a bad move when it's what your opponent wants. However, it will be hard to avoid the word everyone here.
Unless she's bluffing.
She's never done that.
The red truth can cut the weak reasoning of the human side apart over and over. In the past, I feared its ruthlessness. However, I also learned quickly that it could be used as a basis for a counterattack. Yes, the red truth is a trump card, a treasured sword. Now I'm painfully aware of how Beato felt. It can kill with ease, but it's not something to be used unnecessarily. Using it carelessly will end up cornering the witch side instead.
What will you do? We can put this on hold if you want.
No. Okay. I acknowledge it. I acknowledge that everyone else is in the cousin room.
He did it. You can't take it back now.
Good though. Thank you very much, Battler-san.
Unless he pulls out a red, everyone else specifically is referring to these people.
Beautifully done. Oh, I'm in trouble. If a letter from a witch comes in this situation, just who could I suspect?
She said she was in trouble, but her face didn't look troubled at all.
I'm done for.
Needs correction. On the contrary, she looked as though she had just succeeded in placing a huge opening move. She's cracked the center.
Mm-hmm.
In a witch's game, even a single mistake can be fatal. In both chess and shogi, you can't get a piece back once you've moved it. That last exchange had left a bad aftertaste, as though flesh had been torn and bones broken. That should be enough of confirming positions. Shall we continue the game?
Yes, we shall. Eleanor!
The music change.
Yes, Lady Erika.
Let's get started right away. Let's use the privilege our merciful game master has given us.
Yes, understood. Gertrude, Cornelia, use 2 rooms worth of the 3 sets of seals we were given.
Let it be known that
We understand.
seal the cousin room and the next room over. With this, everyone's been sealed except for the victims. No matter what happens after this, the humans within the seals won't be a problem.
Oh, give me 1 second.
Oh.
Okay, I muted myself for that, so I'm back now.
Oh, okay. I figured.
Where's the dang game? There's the game.
Oi!
What?
Oh no, I was trapped. I was trapped. Now I'm freed.
By the seals on the doors and windows, the complete sealing of both the cousin room and the next room over has been guaranteed.
For just an instant, the red longsword had returned to Dillenor's hand. She had been given permission to draw it, thanks to the red truth that she'd finally gained. When the fight concerned these 2 sealed rooms When the fight concerned these 2 sealed rooms from now on. Okay, yes, that makes sense. Dillenor would be able to use that merciless blade, the red key. This overwhelming power could slice even the game master in half. For a while, Erika and Dillenor just grinned at each other, entranced by the ruthless red light that was burning into their eyes. It's so pretty.
Senior Aide, allow me to ask a question.
What is it?
The players on the human side are to interrupt questions proposed by the witch as being the work of humans. Interpret, sorry.
You are not mistaken.
If that is so, why are Lady Erika and Commander Dillenor fighting to lower the number of humans who can commit crimes?
Cornelia's question was a very simple one. Those 2 had made this move boldly, making it sound like it was a powerful one, almost as though it would greatly damage the witch. However, if you thought about it, Erika was just strangling her own neck. I was gonna say that earlier. I was gonna say, isn't this just bad for her? But at the same time, I was also kind of being Battler about it, where I was like, but she's doing it for a reason. Why?
We still don't know what sort of crime will occur in the future. Would it not be more advantageous to the humans if there were more people whose locations are not specified?
Know that now is not yet the time for the lady or the commander to reveal their thoughts.
I apologize for my idle chatter.
What's he doing? He's just sitting there in chat? Cornelia looked like she wasn't satisfied. In the previous game, when trying to help Kinzo escape from his study, Battler had desperately tried to break free from that closed room using various methods. As a result, Kinzo had escaped into the darkness of the night, and it had later been possible to treat him like an elusive phantom. In other words, closed rooms were advantageous to witches and disadvantageous to humans. Witches proposed closed rooms, and humans destroyed and denied them. That should have been the standard tactic of this game. And yet,
Erika had created closed rooms herself, sealing a full 11 humans in them. In other words, this was the same as abandoning the right to use those 11 people when explaining all of the later tricks. In the past, Battler had confirmed the location of certain people, but that had been to check whether certain pieces existed with which he could break closed rooms, and a completely different situation. Why had Erika taken these 11 people, who were also her pieces, and sealed them in a closed room? Cornelia hadn't experienced enough fights to understand this move, which looked as though they were trapping themselves.
A disturbing move. What on earth is Erika planning?
It isn't necessarily an attack. In chess and shogi, strengthening the guard around your king is an excellent strategy.
In other words, the seals around those two rooms aren't an attack, but a guard?
That seems likely. Thanks to that, it's hard to lay a hand on the survivors. It'll be tough to carry out the second twilight.
Ah, I see. The witch side has an advantage when more riddles are presented.
Yeah. After all, if even one riddle goes unsolved, the witch wins. Each new closed room we present increases our advantage. The riddles that the witch side sets up are equivalent to attacks. The human side must perfectly interpret all of those. Intercept. What the heck is with the I words today? It's almost like a penalty shootout, where letting a single point slip by means defeat. So, the witch side wants to increase its number of attacks. The human side wants to lower the number of attacks. When Battler had fought on the human side, he hadn't thought of the survivors holding up in a room as being particularly useful. However, from the witch's side's perspective, this strategy was simple but effective. That rhymed. What made Beato incredible was how she'd bluffed and sneered at this tactic, as though it was completely useless. On the inside, she must have been so worried over how to break down all of these barricades in each game. Right now, I'm sure of that.
I see. So strengthening your guard to make it hard for a crime to occur is one way for the human side to fight.
However, that's a simple move. The great detective Furo Erika wouldn't have looked so confident after playing a move like that. Would Erika be happy after playing a defensive move? Though this move looks as though she's restraining herself, it's also extremely unlikely that Erika was playing defensively. I'm sure that this is an attack, not a move made for defense. Though, I don't know what kind of attack it is.
Next is our move. What shall we do?
For the moment, she has, at least apparently, spent her turn on strengthening her guard to stop the second twilight, instead of reasoning out the first twilight. If they push, pull back. If they pull back, push. In that case, it's time for us to attack.
But how should we attack? The guest house is well guarded.
Yes, it appears as though the entire guest house is now under Erika's control. However, there are certain pieces, like bishops and knights, whose speciality is cutting behind enemy lines. Battler snapped his fingers, and a single gold butterfly appeared from the darkness. Then flew in front of the chessboard, trailing gold sparks behind it. It landed without a sound, then transformed into a black piece representing the witch's darkness. X-ray. That's also a chess term.
Yes, it's a high-level technique. It's when the square seems to be under an enemy's control, but you've spotted that your own pieces actually have enough influence over it, so you attack.
Erika, if you really believe that you can stop my next attack by sealing up all the survivors, that's just naive. Battler raised his new black piece high. His target was a single open space, deep behind enemy lines. How will you handle it? This is my response.
Ah. Now I can finally stretch my wings. First off, let's take a midnight stroll to the mansion.
You would take a stroll in the middle of the night to an eerie mansion where a killer might be hiding? You must be very insane.
We'll give you that idea.
Not at all. I worked so hard to get this time to myself, didn't I? It feels like free time after a swimming lesson.
Now that Bernkastel was nowhere in sight, Erika was regaining her high spirits. Dang. She wasn't exaggerating when she said she was spreading her wings. Dillonor knew that she was risking her own destruction in this game, and she was not in a favorable position by any means. Dillonor could do nothing but assist Erika, so that she could fight to the best of her abilities.
All right. The locks on the first floor of the guest house are perfect. The entrance is sealed up with a chain lock.
Before leaving the guest house, Erika did a check of the first floor, making sure that nothing was out of place. Then she found a flashlight and umbrella in the servant room next to the entrance.
Then let's go.
Yeah. We at least have to check the cause of death for all 6.
She unset the chain, unlocked the door, and opened it. The freezing outside air poured in.
It appears to be quite windy still.
Well, this body is just a cage of flesh to me.
Dang.
I don't care if it gets wet or cold. Let's go.
When Erika dropped her gaze to open her umbrella, she noticed something lying at her feet. Bruh. Erika just like, man, it sure would be bad if any notes appeared.
Huh?
It's one of the unusual letters.
It was one of those letters sent by the witch, with the seal of the one-winged eagle on it. It had been wedged under the outside mat in front of the entrance, as though someone had predicted that Erika would eventually leave for the mansion by this way. It was in the shadows of the large eaves, so it had avoided the rain entirely.
So, it's here already. Almost as though it was waiting for me.
She bent over and picked it up. She then tore it open recklessly and pulled the letter inside out of it. A message had been written in neat letters.
Welcome, Furudo Erika-sama. It says. Oh, so it's calling me by name. He totally saw this coming.
What does it say?
It's an advance notice for a crime. No, I should say it's a report after the fact. Apparently they have taken Ushinomiya Battler's corpse. It's basically saying, please try looking for it.
So, this isn't the tear apart the two who are close of the second Twilight?
Well, disappearing corpses happened a few times in Beato's games too. There's nothing really new about this.
Erika shrugged and scorned the letter. However, this letter was a real attack. All of the survivors were sealed in rooms on the second floor, and at the very end, after she had gone around with Kraus and the others to check the locks on the doors and windows, Erika had personally confirmed there was nothing at this spot. So, this was an attack saying someone who shouldn't be here placed the letter, and that someone was a witch. That was also an attack that the old Beato had often used.
Sheesh. If the way you show it is the same, please tell me that the actual trick isn't the same too. Eleanor, please call Battler here.
Understood. Lord Battler, we wish to take our turn.
Got it. Let's have it.
Sorry, I actually don't have a move to declare. The truth is, there's something I need to apologize for.
Apologize? Battler and Beato's eyes went wide. Dang! However, though Erika said that she wanted to apologize, she had a confident look on her face, as though even that apology would be a new move. So, Battler glared at her dubiously, without letting his guard down.
It's about those retroactive seals. I actually already sealed one place. I apologize for taking so long to report this to you.
You already sealed something? In other words, you've already used up all 3 rooms worth.
Yes, I promised that I'd report it right away, but I completely forgot until just now. You have my sincere apologies.
You don't look like someone who's sincerely apologizing. Well, that's fine. I'm the one who gave you that privilege. So, what did you seal?
Eleanor?
Allow me to report. Battler's guest room was sealed at the time of Lady Erika's inspection of the corpses.
Beato tried not to let it show on her face, but her eyebrows twitched visibly, and her gaze flicked over to Battler.
Normally, I would have liked to seal all the closed rooms, but I didn't have enough packing tape. Out of respect for the Game Master, I sealed only the room with Battler-san's corpse.
So, you were kind enough to close the lid on my coffin.
I remembered a short while ago. I was planning to tell you when we reached the mansion and investigated the guest room with your corpse in it. However, when this letter appeared, I figured I should report it right away. Why did you think that? Well, after all, Battler-san has been playing this game ignorant of the fact that his corpse was sealed in the guest room. Because of that, I thought that it might possibly change things regarding the appearance of this letter.
The cousin room and the next room over are currently sealed. Sorry for the late report, but the guest room with your corpse in it is also sealed. And there are 17 people on the island excluding Lady Erika. The existence of an 18th person has already been denied in a previous game.
In that case, if we're thinking about some person who could have placed this letter and the disappearance of your corpse, I thought maybe... I thought this might change things around a bit.
Erika laughed crudely while staring into Battler's eyes to see if he was panicked or disturbed.
Battler-san.
Stay calm. Erika has just made a report a bit late. There's no need to lose your cool. Erika had suspected it since the beginning. It was possible that Battler actually hadn't been killed and was still alive. And if he was alive, then the letter had suddenly appeared and was easy to explain. That had suddenly appeared was easy to explain, even though all of the survivors were sealed up. Judging by Beato's faint agitation, maybe Erika's guess had been right on the mark. Battler played dead and somehow got around Erika's examination. And then, while everyone was barricading themselves in the guest house, he snuck out of the guest room. After that, he placed a letter detailing the disappearance of his own corpse in the entrance to the lobby, and hid himself. If that was the truth, then the seals that had been placed on Battler's guest room at the time of Erika's examination were now very significant. In other words, If this was the trick they'd used, then Battler would certainly have broken the seals when he left the guest room. The trick would not be workable without breaking the seals. Since the survivors were all sealed up inside the guest house, then if the seals on the guest room were broken, it meant acknowledging that at least one of the victims was actually alive. If Battler had known about the seals earlier, it was likely that he would have advanced the game in a different way to avoid this. In other words, it was very likely that an announcement about the seals would have had a large effect on the rest of Battler's game. Erika was saying, if Battler avoided breaking the seals because he was pretending to be a corpse and instead remained inside the guest room, perhaps this letter would not have appeared in the story. If Battler was actually alive and had placed the letter there, then, now that Erika's seals had come into play, there was a chance that this trick would cause a contradiction somewhere down the line. That sort of contradiction is called a logic error. Oh, hi, Anja.
A logic error? I think we heard about that really early on in this story. Gee, I wonder why.
It's a violation of the rules, the greatest and worst form of error, which the witch side must avoid making.
Yeah, I remember. It was something about the two sides of the tale not matching and creating a contradiction.
Do you remember the magic for making candy appear inside an overturned cup?
Yeah. Maria One-chan and Erika were fighting about that. Apparently, that was just a simple trick where someone slipped the candy into the cup while One-chan had her eyes closed.
That's right. Since Maria did not observe the process of the trick and was only given the result, she accepted the illusion of magic, that the candy had disappeared by magic inside the cup, had appeared, and magic was established.
Okay, so a logic error would be a trick that has become impossible.
If you think about it, Erika and Maria's fierce red and blue truth battle over this magic was the real opening of this tale's fight. Let's try to remember that exchange. The heartless truth was that it had all been a trick. Making the candy appear in the cup by magic had been nothing more than Beato's claim. Magic can only do things that one can accomplish. In other words, you can only have a magical result if it's something that could have been done without magic. Let's be clear. There are two general types of magic. If you summon giants and make towers grow from the ground, but when the lid is taken off, nothing has happened in the rose garden, that's one type of magic. That's just an illusion. It's a lie with no observers that takes place where the witch says it did, in a location without any of the anti-magic toxin. Magic that doesn't have to match a result is the most simple kind. A lie. This is the same as a worthless delusion, an illusion, a daydream. Even Battler saw through it part way through the third game. Then, there is another kind, which we might call true magic. Magic that matches a result. The cup trick is an example of magic that matches a result, since an observer actually checks to see that the cup's contents were empty before seeing a candy appear there. And thus, an actual observer of the incident is created.
I've discovered one big rule that magic matching a result has to follow. Yeah. Unlike the magic of illusions. The rule is that only the unobserved process of what you accomplished can be transformed into magic. I can speak even more generally and ruthlessly. In short, all forms of magic are tricks. Only things that can be accomplished without magic can have a matching result. Ironically, this also proves that magic doesn't actually exist. But, out of respect for the witch's game, let's call it making the game solvable and fair for the human player. So, Instead of the candy inside that cup, we now have this mysterious letter that appeared in front of Erika. They have to be tricks. By claiming that the witch set the letter there by magic, Oni-chan is trying to create magic that matches a result.
Correct. Since all of the survivors are sealed within the closed room of the guest house, it is possible to embellish this suddenly appearing letter and say it was a curious bit of magic, for only a witch could have placed it there. But even so, it must be a possible trick in the end.
In order to see through the trick with the candy and the cup, Erika had countered with the blue truth, saying that the candy had been snuck in there while her eyes were closed. That was the correct answer, so Maria hadn't any red that she could use. But what if she had used it? For example, what if Maria had used the red truth to say, "Until I lifted the cup up, the closed room of the overturned cup remained intact"?
The red truth can only be used to refer to the truth, right? If you could lie with it, it'd be a massive violation of the rules.
Yes. Denying your own trick with the red truth is a major violation of the rules. However, if you instantly switch over to another trick that doesn't violate that red truth, it may be slightly unfair, but that red truth can be acknowledged.
So in this case, the witch side would need to immediately propose another trick that doesn't contradict the red truth, stating that the closed room inside the cup was preserved, like the excuses of a politician when he keeps backtracking as new evidence is shown to him.
Yes. Well, for a red truth like this, she might be able to get away with some painful excuse. Maybe there was some device in the table, or maybe it was a trick cup with a fake bottom. But if those possibilities had been denied beforehand, this would not be valid.
I also agree, Duke Onkled. I thought it was going to be Battler messed up, but it's not necessarily that he messed up. It's that he retroactively messed up, basically. Everything would have been fine had he not given Erika that privilege.
Oops.
The more red truths there are, the harder it is to talk your way out.
In actuality, the candy had been put in the cup while Maria's eyes were closed. However, if, when Erika saw through that, Maria had used the red truth to say the closed room of the cup had been preserved, the witch would have to rush and revise the scenario to a new trick that still worked logically after that new red. Revising the scenario is an unfair move that would never be allowed in the mystery genre. However, the very act of revising the scenario takes place inside the witch's head, which is an unobservable world. So, if she claimed that she'd been using the trick with the fake-bottomed cup from the beginning, no one could deny it. So, even if it really was a trick done while Oni-chan's... Sorry, this is Anja now. So,
Even if it was really a trick done while One-chan's eyes were closed, as long as the witch leaves herself a way out, she can even switch between truths.
tricks.
Rather than calling this an action available to witches, we should probably say that it's only usable by the game master, the one who creates and writes. But even so, the new truth must not contradict any of the previously stated red truths. If the red truth makes it so that the trick no longer makes logical sense, then there will be a mismatch between the two sides of the story, the illusory result that the game master claims is magic, and the true result that was brought about by a trick. So, when we get a contradiction and it no longer makes logical sense, we call it a logic error. And that would mean the destruction of the witch's game.
Yeah.
This world is a game that's possible to explain with humans. In other words, it must be possible for all magic to have been done by tricks as well. If it's impossible to do with tricks, then the human side has no move and we get a stalemate.
No, not quite. That's where we get the fatal and horrible violation known as a logic error. When the witch side does this, the game is instantly destroyed, and they suffer a fatal defeat.
Erika has probably seen through to Oni-chan's trick. Without the detective's authority, she couldn't perform a proper examination of the corpses. Because of that, he continued to play dead, snuck out of the guest room, and placed the letter at the entrance to the guest house.
However, because Battler was so overly gracious in giving out those retroactive seals, things went wrong.
Stupid Oni-chan.
The current situation still does not warrant panic. It still hasn't been specified with red truth that the seal around the guest room are intact. He is free to break the seals. If he doesn't, then he can probably have it so that someone other than Battler was alive and swap them in as the person who placed the letter.
That's right. It's not just Oni-chan. The other corpses haven't been specified as dead by the red yet. So far, there wouldn't be any problem if they were all faking.
Unless the letter is true that Battler's corpse has been moved, in which case the seal does still need to be broken on Battler's room.
True. This is far too soon for them to get flustered. All he has to do is change his move so that Erika's seal and the placement of the letter don't contradict each other.
And revising the plot without contradictions is one of the moves available to the Game Master.
However, taking a scenario one has imagined and revising it partway through can sometimes create flaws in the tale. It would be a very regrettable move to make when the first Twilight has only just ended. It would seem that Battler was the one with an enemy piece moved deep behind those lines. This hidden piece will probably cause him pain and discomfort with each step from now on, like a pebble caught in one's shoe. This single pebble might kill Battler. This still isn't quite a logic error. And though we sealed the room retroactively, we were at fault for the lateness in reporting it. So I have no problem with letting Battler-san retroactively rewrite the plot concerning this letter. Retroactively rewrite the plot?
I see. If I placed the letter there, then that would have become impossible as soon as I was sealed in the closed room. In which case, this letter shouldn't have appeared here.
Correct. So, I thought you should have the chance to revise this small inconsistency.
We just now discovered this letter here. We are saying that we do not mind if you want to undo that, or if you want to use a revised scenario.
Just by the existence of the letter and packing tape, this sort of move is possible for Funado Erika. What do you think, everyone?
Damn. What a dirty move. Well, what else should I expect from Erika? I made a promise with Dylanor too, that we both play all out and mercilessly. Yeah, it's true. I'd been planning to make Battler actually alive, and then to have him slip out of the guest room, resulting in his disappearance and in the placement of the letter. However, if I revise the scenario now that my move's been spotted, it'll be the same as admitting that it was spotted. Even if I have to be stubborn about it, I don't want to admit that I was seen through here. I don't want to acknowledge a pathetic plot change where I try to sneak out of the guest room and break the seals. I want to change over to a different trick, so that the letter will be placed and my corpse hidden, while still preserving the seals on the guest room. It doesn't really have to be me who places that letter. I can still revise the logic without contradictions.
But, Battler-san, even if you can place the letter somehow, how are you going to make your corpse vanish afterwards? The guest room is sealed. If you don't find a trick to erase the corpse from the closed room right now, a logic error will occur.
I still have time. Let me think until the last second.
Damn it. With a painful laugh, Battler unconsciously scratched at his head. Anyway, we'll leave the letter like this. I can't say, oh, sorry about that. Having the guest room sealed makes a big contradiction, so I'd like to revise my move. It would mean acknowledging that she caught me. I feel like a ninja hiding above the ceiling. Even though I was noticed and stabbed by a spear, I just withstand the pain, wipe off the blood of the spear, and act as though nothing happened. False courage works well enough. I can't let her know that this one hurt.
Battler, son.
Hey, Beato. Do you know what my face looks like now? I'm sure it's the same expression you had when I managed to hit you where it hurts in the past. Damn it. Beato couldn't think of anything to say. Useless words of comfort would only get in the way of Battler's thinking now. What would the old you do? The old you who created all of the closed rooms that tormented me so much in the past. What kind of trick would she use to erase my corpse from a closed room? Beato trembled and groaned. The old her had been an expert at closed room tricks. If only that memory, that power, could be revived, she would be able to help Battler. There's still time to think. There's still time. Nice going, Erika. That was a dirty move.
All right. Do you have to go?
I probably have to go, yes.
Unfortunate.
Unfortunate. But we got through 2 at the very least.
True. That one, that chapter, was entitled A Small Contradiction.
A small contradiction. Battler doubling down is going to be the death of him. He should have doubled down.
It's about to get interesting.
Should have just
We're getting
fixed
ready
it
to head into the
on, but
climax.
I have thought of something already. Possibly, maybe, but I mean, obviously things could be revealed later. So I'll just say this before I go. What if last room the murder occurred in was Battler room? And this is crazy. This is like Tiny Bombs level. The mattresses are the kinds that like have zippers on them. I'm still not sure though, because it depends on who could be where at any given time. But I was gonna say that Battler is in the mattress, and that's how he's still in the room. But then it's a question of who put him there. Because if he put himself there, I mean, I suppose Battler could still be alive and also not be the person who put the letter there. So that works.
You'll have to wait till you
Okay.
get into the thick of it.
Okay. I'm sure there
But
will be some
also,
red that makes that not possible.
You're gonna have to work within the Noxus Decalogue, don't forget.
Not true. Okay, well,
But yeah.
any announcements for the rest of the week?
No, nothing out of the ordinary. This week should be back to regular schedule, as far as I'm aware. So, for the first week, we already made a community post about this, but for the first time, no Monday video. Also, the music is popping off right now.
Yeah.
It's going crazy. What even is this? Hold up. Oh, the girls' witch hunt. Anyway. Yeah, no Monday video, because we're now going to start doing long-form content. I hope to have that out later this month, though, the first long-form content video. Still going to be on a Monday. I'll let you know when. Tuesday, I will be streaming, like I normally do. More TCG Card Shop Simulator. We're getting there on that one. Wednesday podcast. Thursday back to Umineko.
Yep.
Maybe Saturday stream for Jordan, who knows?
Who knows?
And then Sunday more Umineko again next week.
Yep.
Which will probably either next stream or the stream after, depending on our availabilities, will likely be the final one of Dawn of the Golden Witch,
Yep.
because there's very little left.
After. What's today? Today is the
first.
1st.
Mhm.
After. Not this upcoming Thursday, but next Thursday, I will be on my winter break from school, so my availability will shoot up. But
Mine will become interesting because while I will be off of work for an extended amount of time, I will be away from my desktop for an extended amount of time. So that's
We'll see.
We'll see what happens. Yeah.
all right. Well, I'm sure next stream will be thrilling, considering what we just left off on.
Almost certainly.
So
Almost certainly.
we'll have to see you all next time.